Ties between China and Malaysia, strained with the disappearance of Flight 370, are now being further tested. Beijing is demanding the Malaysian government take steps to ensure the safety of Chinese nationals. The comments came a day after a tourist from China was kidnapped at gunpoint at a popular diving resort in eastern Malaysia. The tourist, Gao Huayun, and a Filipino hotel worker were taken by gunmen believed to be Filipino insurgents. For more, I'm joined by Rian Maelzer, who's live in Kuala Lumpur.
Yes, Mike, the police are saying that 7 armed men arrived by speedboat at this resort off the coast of Sabah, which is on the island of Borneo. And that these men, some of them were wearing masks, some weren't. They spent about half an hour at the resort before abducting these 2 people and fleeing. The police say that this resort was actually protected by a security system. Said there were a series of obstacles in the water that would make it very difficult for a boat, an uninvited boat, to enter to come up to the resort. So they believe that there was some insider information, that somebody working at the resort, somebody familiar with the resort, had provided these gunmen with the information on how to evade these obstacles. And they're saying this has all the hallmarks of being the work of Abu Sayyaf, which is a rebel group from the southern Philippines who've been responsible for previous kidnappings. Just last November, a tourist from Taiwan was shot dead at another resort in the same area, and his wife was kidnapped. She was released about 5 weeks later after a hefty ransom was believed to have been paid. And most notoriously, the Abu Sayyaf group was responsible for abducting 21 people, tourists and resort workers, from an island, again in the same area. And those people were eventually also released after ransoms were paid.
Ryan, there seems to be a suggestion by some that, in fact, there's been some reports that this might be an effort by militants to drive a wedge between China and Malaysia at this tense time. Are you hearing that as well?
Well, that seems a little far-fetched to me. Actually, if people know Abu Sayyaf and about its operations of late, in recent years, a lot of their leaders were either killed or captured, and it's basically decapitated the organization. They're quite fragmented now. And if they did have political aims, such as establishing an Islamic state before, those seem to have fallen by the wayside. Instead, they seem to have become a kidnap for ransom gang, basically. So what kind of benefit they would get out of driving a wedge between China and Malaysia is very hard to understand. And Malaysia and China, despite this MH370 incident, they enjoy a very strong relationship. They have, strong historical, cultural, trade, economic ties, whereas actually the relations between China and the Philippines are very prickly right now because of territorial disputes in the South China Sea. And the Philippines has been quite outspoken about these, and it's caused quite a reaction in China. So it should be remembered, actually, that yes, the Chinese tourist was kidnapped in Malaysia, but they were almost certainly grabbed by a gang from the Philippines and taken back to the southern Philippines. So it could have an impact on China-Philippines relations.
Good point. Rian Maelzer, live for us in Kuala Lumpur. Thanks so much.